So how great is Sophia Hilton's message, right? So hi everyone and welcome to the Australian Hairdressing Council, Meet the Industry Disruptors. My name is Sandy Chong and my role is CEO of the Australian Hairdressing Council. But today is not about the AHC and it's not about me by any means. We're going to meet the industry disruptors because I think that one of the things that I really think about when I think about business and myself is, you know, there are those that make things happen, there are those that watch things happen, and then there's those that go, well, what happened? And I know that in business so many times, I've been one who have looked at other people in business and gone, my God, how did they do that? You know, how did they do that? And so we've invited 4 industry disruptors, people who have really made a difference in our industry today by what they're doing on a day-to-day basis in business, in social media, and with their clients and with their staff. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce Dennis Langford. So Dennis Langford is going to host our industry disruptors today. And I know that every single one of you must know Dennis because he is the CEO of Toni and Guy Australia, of course. He's an incredible presenter.
Thank you very much, Sandy.
Yes, and I think that if you've never done his presentation skills, you must, because he has one of the best courses in this country for sure. I'm also going to welcome up Mia DeVries. Now, Mia DeVries is from the Secret Fox Education. Hands up in the room who's actually on the Secret Fox Education.
Hello, friends.
Oh, yeah. You've got fans. Yay. Wow. Okay, cool. Right. Well, I don't have to explain anything about you then. And now we've got Tom White, and Tom White, of course, is from Ruby Howe. And who has had Tom White educate in their salon? You've got 2 fans, and she actually had. But we're hoping that by the end of the you'll have more. Okay?
I think what happened there was that the people thought who has had Tom White.
No, I didn't say that, but I'll move on from that. Okay. So we have Natalie Ann. Of course, everybody knows Natalie Ann, who's on her Instagram page. Because if you're on her Instagram page, then that means that there is also 495,000 others on her Instagram page, as well as everybody in this room. So amazing. And last not least is Adam Ciaccia, who has had over 15 million views on YouTube. How cool is that?
Boss.
That's a lot of viewing. I think someone's stalking you, actually, really. You've had that many. That's really that's more stalking. But anyways, I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of Dennis Langford to have a chat with these beautiful people. So have a great afternoon, guys. Thanks.
Sandy, thank you very much. It's a real privilege for me to be up here on behalf of the AHC to represent a little bit of our industry there, but to have a collaboration with these 4 characters, let's say. So industry disruptors. Disruptors are people that do things a little different, a little out of the ordinary. But I'm not just interested in people that are disruptive for the sake of it. I'm interested in people that are disruptive and run an effective, very profitable business. So at the end of the day, for those of us that are business owners, hands up in the room, who's a business owner? Most of the room. We are in there to not make a little bit of money, we're in there to make as much as we possibly can. But sometimes we need to be able to disrupt the norm and do something that's a little bit different. Look at how our industry has changed, how the world has changed, and taken on new technology in different ways to get out to the consumer, get out to those potential clients that are going to come into our salons. And it's way greater than just word of mouth, per se. So we've picked 4 of these people up here on stage, and it's a real privilege because I've had the opportunity to chat and know each and every one of these people here and delve a little bit deeply into their businesses, and thank you guys for giving me some insight into your businesses. So as a compere, I look for a common denominator right the way through. And the main thing that sticks to me as a common denominator for these people is that it's not just the passion and the charisma and those sorts of things. They all play a role, that's for sure, but it's certainly about their work ethics. I delve and I want to know how successful their business is. I want to know the numbers on their business. And I want to know how profitable they are. Because as a disruptor, if you find a way to do that and do an exceptional job, you have 4 people here that are the epiphany of what our industry is about. Now, each of them do it slightly different, but there is that common denominator. They all work extremely long hours. I don't think any of them understand what a 50 or 60 hour week is. They're in excess of that. They all make a lot of money, and they all do it in slightly different ways. And that's what we want to be able to explore today with you guys. So first of all, Mia, can I come across to you for a moment? I know you've got a fabulous salon down in Wollongong. I know that in that business there, you've got two parts of the business, the Secret Fox and the hairdressing salon.
Yep.
But you mentioned to me something about my business runs 24/7. And that's not normally a concept in hairdressing per se, because we open early, we close at 6 o'clock, let's say, but your business keeps going all the time. Can you just explain a little bit about that, please?
I guess I'm going to set the scene a little bit of how this all kind of happened. I'd go maybe about 3 years ago, I read a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. Sorry, Tom, I took that one off you. With that one there, has anyone read that book? It's an awesome book, and basically it was about Marie Kondo, and the question like, who knows Marie Kondo? So it's all about spark joy. So I looked at my life and I started picking it apart and saying, does this spark joy? Does that spark joy? And what I ended up doing over the last 3 years is unraveling anything that wasn't giving me joy anymore. One of the activities that I did while I was trying to figure out like, oh God, who am I? What do I want to do? What makes me happy? Was I had to write down my dream day, and I thought that was a really lame thing to do, because who's got time to daydream about what their dream day looks like? And what really surprised me about my dream day was that I was at home, and I thought, oh my God, I thought I'd be at the salon. But I was at home, I was in my office, and I was in my tracksuit pants. And then I kind of forgot about it, because I was like in front of a computer, and I knew that I was doing something in front of a laptop, but I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But I couldn't actually see what I was doing yet. All I knew was that I wasn't in the shop, I wasn't on the tools anymore. And that, I was in trackies. So if I could go back and change my dream day now, I would have worn something much nicer than that, because I found myself wearing tracksuits for probably about a good 12 months. They were nice tracksuits, but I've swapped that around now. But basically, a big thing of that then was that I just realised that I wasn't very happy doing all the things that I was doing. I said yes to everything. I was really yes, I can do that, yes. Until I realised, oh my God, I wanted to swap away from being that, say yes to every opportunity, because I was saying yes to all the opportunities I didn't really want to do. And so that's when I started picking it out and saying,
so
now you've had your
declutter chick.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm on it.
You've had your business for 14 years.
Yeah.
But it's only the last 6 years or so that you've really got heavily involved with social media.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I actually don't have deep and meaningful answers for why I got involved in social media. I have a very young team, so they were all on social media. I think I got mocked for joining Facebook 10 years too late. And I didn't know how to do anything. They had to teach me how to post photos and stuff. And then once I learned how to post a photo, then I just didn't stop.
Why do you think it's relevant for your business?
Why is it relevant for my business? I guess because we've got a very young clientele, so our clientele live on social media. So they're all there. But I don't know, why is social media relevant to my other business or my salon business? Why did you start with me? Pick on them.
I'll get to them. Because it's a great story where you've come from in a relatively short space of time.
Yep.
And embrace an aspect of social media that has really helped to grow your business, as opposed to just waiting for clients to walk in.
Yeah, clients started walking in. So what we found with social media is that it wasn't word of mouth anymore, it was word of Facebook. So people would come in and we'd say to them you're new here, how did you find us? And they'd say, oh, we found you on Facebook. And I'd be like, oh, where have you come from? And then we realised that people were travelling to Wollongong from Campbelltown, Canberra, Sydney. So clients were coming from really, really random places because they'd seen a photo on Facebook, they liked it, and they wanted their hair to look like that.
Thank you. We'll come back to you there. But there's a commonality between where you are in Wollongong, because this is not quite the centre of the universe, nearly, but not quite.
Centre of my universe.
Adam is in Canberra and has a salon down there called Access Hair, which is fantastic, with a population of 400,000 people or so, last time you counted.
Yeah, it's about 400,000.
Okay, to build a business like you have in Canberra and to have the following that you have, I want to know why you chose YouTube as your medium to connect with people.
Interesting. It's actually very similar to what Mies just said. I'd like to say I'm some sort of genius, and I sat around planning and it was strategic, but it wasn't. Natalie knows his story. I've told it to her before. It was a case of YouTube finding me and YouTube telling me that's what I need to do, and why I think that is quite simply, I went to Sassoon to do my International Masters in 2010, came home after doing the data dolls with Mark Hayes, and I wanted to show that to my team. They weren't all there that day, so I asked one of my assistants to grab out my iPhone, the iPhone 3, we couldn't send a picture message on, but we all bought it. Don't know why we did that. It's alright, I'll email them to people when I get home. So halfway through ran out of memory. Before Google acquired YouTube, Apple and YouTube had a deal, and you could actually, one of the options on the box with the arrow was sent to YouTube. So I was like, brilliant, I'll send the footage to YouTube and then it'll be able to be deleted off my phone and we'll keep going. And that was all the thought I put into YouTube until I woke up the next day to literally thousands of notifications on my phone. And I'm like, back then the app was very clunky, the functionality was very bad, so I need to go and get it on my computer, and I got it with my wife Michelle. The comments were just like staggering. Like, people, thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to try this on my client. A few days later I checked again. I did this on my client today, they rebooked, thank you so much. You're a dickhead, go kill yourself. Like,
you get all sorts.
You've got to take the good with the bad. And I'm not making a mockery of suicide, but you do get trolled a fair bit. But I do believe that you shouldn't always do things in life for money. Sometimes you should do it for your soul. And when's your next video? I want another video. It's like, I better do some more, and then it started. It just started. So back then we were just using really primitive technology. Now, like this camera we have in front, technology is such that it makes it very, very easy to do. It still consumes lots and lots of time, but I didn't choose it. That's actually how it really started happening.
Okay. Your business that you have in Canberra there, it's quite a sizable salon down there, but that business you have, you don't run it just on your own. You mentioned Michelle, who works in the business with you.
Of course.
Your darling wife. There she is. There. And then your sister Nicole.
Yeah, who's also in the front row.
Okay, so between the three of you, you run this empire that you have.
Look, I'd say that empire was probably overstating things, but thank you. It is not without fault. We would like to say that we try our very best to first and foremost create an environment that is attractive to clients. But then we thought, well, hang on a minute, why is everything client focused? In an industry that everyone wants to be a freelancer, they don't want to work for you, why? Well, maybe you need to start making it set up for your staff. So that's what we've done. And it takes a lot of energy and time, and now that we find that the staff are happy staff do great work, clients come, and we've managed to build a profitable, successful business. But it was already that when we acquired it. I mean, it had a long, long history through our family. We bought it over a period of years, and one of the things that social media did allow us to do is essentially double our turnover in the space of 18 months, and that's why we moved. That's why we moved premises. Yeah.
Thank you. Natalie, I want to come to you for a moment, my lovely.
Hi.
Now, Natalie has a salon in the western suburbs of Sydney. What's interesting about the salon that you have there, and I took down some stats that you were talking about the other day. You've got 15 staff, about 180 square metres, big salon in there. You have no foot traffic to speak of. So to build your business, and again, with social media, you've only relatively got into it in the last sort of half decade or so. And that's really driven your business. Now, you don't just have a salon business, you have all sorts of things going on. Can you tell us about that, please?
Well, we'll go back to the foot traffic thing. I was really fortunate enough to start my career with Toni and Guy. And when I decided to go off and freelance, I was just working and operating out of my home salon. And it was an amazing experience. This is fast forwarding years, but only 3 years ago we had our double garage salon. It was just myself, and then my sister needed a job, my cousin needed a job, my other cousin needed a job, and I'm Lebanese, so there's a few more. So they all needed a job, and we started to outgrow the space as we were creating content for social media in this double garage, and I was servicing all my clients as a home salon. It started to get lots of traction. Lots of love hearts, lots of beautiful comments and messages, but not from only hairdressers, but from clients. And we decided to expand, so fast forward 3 years from the double garage and your cousins, we now have full space.
It's a tremendous effort, it really is. So the detail of that we want to come to shortly if we can. Tom, you right down there, dude?
I did.
Tom's been working all day, he's done 3 seminars already.
Yeah.
Just
I've still got wax on my hands.
Oh no.
And Tom, you got in Melbourne, you have Ruby Hair.
Yeah.
You've had that for now just only a year and a half. So
Yeah,
relatively
with
short
my two
time
business
frame.
partners, Michelle and Nikki.
Okay. And you've got a salon there that does around about 1.2 mil turnover a year, which is a phenomenal amount of turnover. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You do lots of education.
I do, yeah.
I want to know why you think you fit into this group as a disruptor
I was hoping you'd tell me. No, I'm joking. So I suppose if anyone who knows me, everyone knows I'm a bit of a gobshite, so I'm quite opinionated. I'm very much opinionated on millennials. I hear a lot, especially when travelling around, how millennials are shit for the industry. I promise I'll keep the swearing down, okay? But you do hear, you do hear a lot about how millennials have destroyed things, how millennials don't fit into the original business model. And I suppose I'm here to tell you that you need to change your business and help the millennials fit into business. Well, you build your business around the new generation, because they're not going to stop coming through. They're going to keep changing, especially with social media, like these guys have said. Business is very different now to even what it was 6 years ago. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't moving with the time. So we have this kind of adapt or die mentality. So that's kind of probably why I fit in a little bit.
Because to have a business, to do that, and I spoke to you about like, how much time do you put into your business each week? What did you answer?
Between 1,800 hours in total, but that's split across the education and and
but in hairdressing. And people talk to you about, what about your balance of work-life balance?
I think work-life balance, it's really great, grinds me gears, this does. Really does, because I hear so many people turn around and go, this is going to be a rant by the way, so be careful. So many people turn around and go, I can't wait to work 30 hours a week, live in my lovely house, drive my nice car. I just think tosser, like absolute tosser. Don't get it. Like we're all here, now whether you want to be a standard hairdresser that works 38 hours a week, and you money, go home, live a nice lifestyle, great. With so many people, I think I think the industry has kind of dropped slightly. I think there's people who have been very good over the years that have not kind of carried it forward. And I think the whole work smarter rather than harder, it's just been personified too much. Like, if you can work smart and hard, surely you're going to get there quicker. So I suppose with me, I always try and teach that if you want to do platform work, if you want to own a salon, if you want to go travel the world doing hairdressing, anything like that, because there's so many different avenues, you can't do 38 hours a week. You have to go, it's an 80 to 100 hour week. You have to. And people can turn around and say, no, it's not, I promise you I'm living it right now. It's 80 to 100 hours a week.
A big effort. That was the same two girls clapping. That was really good. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Did you book them on an app or something?
Yeah,
Wow.
Rent a mate.
Easy. Now, Mia, I know a question that a lot of people will want to know how to get around this. Creating content for social media, how long does it take to do that with your clients at the salon?
I would say it probably takes like 2 minutes on the end of their appointment, if that. So it doesn't take a lot of time to create the content. I mean, I guess I'm really lucky. I've got a huge, actually no, I don't have a huge team anymore. I've got a small team. I've gone from a team of 21 to a team of 8. So, but I've got 8 really, really strong cutter and colorists. So they create the content for me. So yeah, it doesn't take us that much time, I don't think.
Because I know we're talking to some owners that they find it hard to create the time. So they want to extend the appointment time to allow to create social media.
Well, we do. My team of millennials are they are very lucky. We take an hour for a cut, an hour for a colour, an hour to process and tone, plus an hour to style, social media, rebook, everything. So we did go from 45 minutes over the course of 5 years. It's stretched out to an hour now.
Okay, all the people at the Toni Go table, disregard that. We're staying at 45, maybe we're going to 30. Anyway. Now, your take on that. How do you get the time to create your content?
I am on this stage because of Facebook and Instagram, and obviously hard work, and I'm a pretty good hairdresser. But you know, for me, I understand the return on investment, and I have decided to now take 4 full days off my salon, which could be a lot of money, to now create content for.
This is you personally?
Yes.
Okay.
For 4 days.
4 days a week to create content?
Yes.
Let the team do the salon work?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I work on the floor Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm creating content. And it takes me a lot longer than 2 minutes.
Your job is, I think, though, you're doing content very different to what we bust out.
Yeah.
So you're like a blogger now. I'd say you're a full-on blogger.
I hope so. One day I'll write. But for me, it's just, it's so important to reinvest into my business, and I understand that creating that content creates the energy, creates the hype. You know, me reaching out to influencers coming into my space, those influencers then creating that content within the space on those 4 days creates a buzz and an energy around our brand that is so important. And after every service, it's become a part of our client's journey. You know, when you come to Natalie Ann, you've pretty much got a full face of makeup done. Like, people, you know, want us to create content with them because we have created that space. We have decided that our brand is going to look and feel a certain way online, and the clients are a part of the journey now. Whether they be 50, 60, 10, 15, however old they are, they really want to be a part of it. And if they're not, they feel less than. So it's our job to make sure that we are capturing every single client, whether it's just a Snapchat or a story or, you know, a full DIY video. It's so important.
How important is to get your clients, the customers that come in, the everyday person that comes into the salon, to be on your social channels?
I'm going to say more important than yours, because you're trying to capitalize on their audience. So you want to encourage social sharing and that kind of behavior in your space. So, I mean, just a tip from me, I like to create, you know, nuts or coffees or little quirky experiences, have a ring light in the front of your salon. All of those things spark or trigger, you know, that call to action where people want to come in and like share it in a story, tag you, put a mention on Facebook, you know, incentivize them, offer a discount, because that one person has on average 600 followers. And you want those people to talk about your brand.
And this is not about dominating just movers and shakers about social media. There's so many different aspects to it. Because if we were to ask the guys about how they look after their clients, what the client experience is like in the salon, or how they delight their clients, they have a whole repertoire of doing that. Social media, our website, reviews, is our new shopfront. Years ago, it just used to be the shopfront and word of mouth. These days, the shopfront is not necessarily the shopfront. And you've certainly proved that in your salon because there's not much foot traffic. So shop fronts come in different forms, and that's why we need to be able to look and see what that journey is like for a potential new client when they come to us these days. How do they find us? If they're not happy with the hairdresser they're going to now, they're looking for someone new, how do they find us? And usually they do a Google search on a hairdresser that's a good hairdresser closest to me. That's where it starts. And it instantly goes straight to Instagram to have a look at what the feel is like of that particular business. Then maybe to the website to get the phone number or book online. It's a very quick process. It all happens in about 2.5 minutes flat. So people choose very fast, very different to what it used to be 10, 20 years ago. Adam, just with the YouTube things, do you put stuff up there that is relevant for hairdressers and clients? Tell me how that goes for you. What's that process?
This really good question, because I'm still puzzled myself. As I touched on before, it was never my intention to use it as a marketing tool, and to say that I did would be lying, basically. I still remember the first day that the penny dropped. I was cutting this girl's hair, and she's like looking at me awkwardly. She's probably like early 20s, and I'm like, "Is everything okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I just feel like I know you already." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Oh, I've watched all your videos on YouTube." I was like, "What?"
And you're thinking, which
Literally,
videos?
I'm like, like, what's happening? It's like, I thought,
Wrong tube.
yeah, no, that's Tom. And the intention was for me to give back, because there are people who are living in remote parts of Australia that don't get education, or for financial reasons they can't access traditional education seminars, and that was my thing, to give back to the hairdresser. Never did I realise that consumers would be searching for where they were going to have their hair done on YouTube, but they actually weren't. What was happening is Google had now acquired YouTube, and what's indexed priority in the Google search? Videos. So if you type hairdresser Canberra, like, there's 300 videos of mine coming up before anyone else's. So we started to have people, you know, I've got people come from Mumbai, Hawaii, Singapore, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. Most of my Saturdays now are just doing people from interstate.
If they don't come to you, you also go to them. You hit to New York.
Internationally I do, yeah. I travel to New York and Los Angeles.
How often do you do that?
Well, the plan is, once my green card comes through, fingers crossed, this time next year I'll be going 5 to 6 times a year. Yep.
And that's to do clients?
Yep.
What do you charge over there for a haircut?
Australian.
600 Australian.
Yep.
Yeah, we died when we found
Yep.
out.
And my wife Michelle attests to that. I've only just come back in April, and people are busting their balls to get in already in September, like hounding her, like, I want to book an appointment, I want to pay, like, yeah. And I don't think that's a reflection necessarily of my ability. I think that we all have skills. As we've all said here, it's what are you prepared to do to put yourself out there? Because we all have skills, and there's a lot of ways you can make money in this industry. And my dad taught me something simple when I was playing soccer. He's like, if you go to the tryout, son, and everyone wants to be a striker, you try out a left back. And then once you're on the team, you can go anywhere you want on the team. So everyone's competing in the education space. I'm going after high net wealth individuals who want their haircut, want a great haircut. Simple.
Boom, chakalaka. Well done. It is good. It is good.
I actually had a client come in 2 weeks ago with one of Adam's YouTube videos.
Sorry, mate.
The Pixie one, the one that you did based on Huscards.
Yeah.
How good is it? You can
Yeah.
just watch it and then
Can you do that? She goes, you can watch it if you want. So you know I was just like,
I wonder why you shouldn't have done that yesterday. Sharp. You do it to me.
so good.
Tom, what's your take on social media? Do you use it much in your business?
I've been real slow to get to this, purely because I've just been lazy with it, I'll be honest. I've been real lazy with it. It's only recently, since being kind of drafted as part a little off the top, and then all the education stuff, I've started using it. I don't have many followers, but the followers I do have are all clients of mine in terms of through the education. So I actually do run most of my education business through my Instagram. It's Tom White _ yeah, just in case. You've already followed me already. So yeah, I think social media is really important. Back to the shopfront thing, I totally agree. I have had a chat with my business partners. We all agree that there's going to come a time where we're going to probably want to pull one of the shops off the main street that we've got and put it a few streets back because we don't need the shopfront anymore.
Right,
We really don't.
Yeah, case in point, yep.
Yeah, so we were talking about that over the last couple of weeks. So I do think social media is incredibly powerful, and most people don't walk down the street looking for their hairdresser anymore. I mean, you used to do that, didn't you? You know, you should walk down the street going, oh, I'll have a look at the salons and find out which one I like the feel of. Most people have gone Instagram now. So it is mega powerful, mega powerful.
You made a comment to me a little while ago about when you share ideas, inspiration and culture when you're educating people there.
Yeah.
And the quote was, I can give people the bullets, but I can't make them shoot the gun.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that?
So with my education, and even when we're talking anything about this, I will literally give everything I know. Whether that's down to, first of all, let me start, I've only owned a business for 15 months. I'm going to make some huge cock-ups in the next 10 years, I know that. And I'm fine with that. I'm actually quite looking forward to a couple of them providing them semi-broke. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. Yeah, right? So I try and give as much from an employee point of view. So I think that's where I've kind of got a little bit of an edge, because it's only been 15 months since I worked for someone. I still remember all the shit that I used to hate that used to happen in salons. I'm not just talking about my previous salon, I'm talking about salons I've worked over the last 10 years. So I try and teach business owners that kind of point of view, that if you've owned a salon for 10 years, it's not your fault. Sometimes you can be stale and not down with it because you haven't worked for someone for 10 years. It's hard to get your head around that. So by giving everything I can out, that bit that what you mentioned is only kind of 1% of people actually put anything into practice. That's the problem. You can give 100% of you out, but if people don't listen or don't put it into practice or sit there and nod, take notes and then go home and put it on the side and never look at it again, that's the problem that we have. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty much like you go, oh, I was inspired, yeah, bullshit. Inspiration bullshit. It's the application, it really is the application of the inspiration that makes the difference.
It does, that's for sure. Look, I just want to ask you something. When I looked at your Instagram and social media there, pretty well every photo has got your middle finger up at the world.
Yeah.
And so have all of your students.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Oh dear. Okay, so a few years ago, like I said, I'm opinionated and I do swear a lot. So a few years ago, I got
You're doing well today though.
Yeah, I'm really trying to rein it in. There's so many words
Sam
I've
would be
got.
so happy.
Oh, no, don't say that. We'll warm it up. By the end, I'll be effing and blinding. A few years ago, I was on stage with a company and I dropped the F-bomb. Now, I dropped the F-bomb not just to say the word, I'm going to say, fuck. I feel better. I didn't actually just say the word fuck just to say the word fuck. I said it 3 times now. I said it. Oh no, I said it purely to make a point. I have this thing. I feel I can read. My biggest asset. I think I can read people quite well. That's what I think I can read an audience quite well. And I realise you're not liking this. No, I'm joking. So what I did, I use swear words to amplify a point. Because when you hear a swear word, usually because it is still classed as you shouldn't do it, people's ears prick up. So I use it as part of my speech. I got told that I'd never ever become an educator. I'd never work for anyone. My career would pretty much die in the arse because I was too controversial, I swore too much. So the whole middle finger bit came from me telling those people to fuck off. Yes. And because I knew these people were following me on Instagram, so it was purely just to go, I'm going to give you the finger and then I'm going to prove you wrong, and in a few years' time, when I get to sit next to absolutely these legends, I can go, fucking told you so.
Love it, man.
That's how it started. It's just
Thank you. But it is pretty prominent. Let's say.
Everyone seems to really like it. Like even there was a couple of my 2 fans from Mackay. Everywhere I go, and I always say, if you don't want to stick your middle finger up, you don't have to. I'm not going to force you. It's not part of the
So you just
contract.
randomly like run into people and they're just like, fuck you.
Do you know what? I was at a course.
That's how it happens. Like,
It's so funny. I was at a course in Melbourne, and I can't remember what course it was. I went to a seminar, and then 2 chicks come up to me and went, "Oh, you're that guy." Didn't know my name, just knew I did that. So it's kind of worked for me.
So good.
For me so far, yeah.
It's caught on, great. Look, Mia, can I come back to you for a moment there? You said something to me once before there about you need to evolve or die. And one of the experiences you've had is that you had a whole bunch, if not all, of your staff leave at one particular time.
Yeah.
Just tell us about that,
That
and
was
how
fun.
you handled that.
I reckon probably about like 6 years ago, I had an entire team walk out, bar one. It didn't happen like in one day, everyone was just like this, and they walked out. It probably happened over a course of maybe about 6 to 9 months, because it is one of those things where they always say like, I don't know, is it Tom Donato? Is that how you say his name? He always says that they're not gone until all their friends are gone. So basically, I had the issue is that I still had friends lurking, and that's so toxic in your business. So it was one of those things. The 2 girls that left, they'd been with me for a really, really long time. So as much as that was heartbreaking, it was also time for them to go. What that also meant then was that I really needed to step it up. So 5 years ago, I went from having a little salon with no staff, bar one, and I went, okay, cool. We're going to blow this up so nobody can take that away from me. So I went from being, one of the coolest salons in our area to having a salon identical to mine with the exact same clientele, the exact same staff, the exact same techniques, the exact same brands, the exact same everything. So I kind of went, okay, cool, I need to turn my salon upside down and shake it and rebrand everything. We changed colour brands, we changed our look, we changed our feel. We ended up putting on an extra 19 staff. There were 21 of us at that time. That was also while I think I was pregnant. We moved stores when I think maybe I had like 4 months to go in my pregnancy. So I sort of think, yeah, that was an intense experience. What that also meant for me to do is that I really pushed my education brand out there, because I was like, right, okay, how do I make sure that everybody in my town knows that I'm the one to go to? So what we ended up doing then was we started educating balayage. So we were fairly well known for that in our area. So we thought, okay, cool, we're going to start giving this to everybody, so that if anyone knew that they wanted to get a balayage done, we'd be like, well, we're the one that teaches everybody else how to do it. So that was sort of how we sort of, stamped our mark in that.
It's good, because that's a huge thing, evolve or die. A lot of people could take that on emotionally, really, and so many of their staff leave at one time, it's crippling, and the business goes under.
I think that when your staff leave, it's their time to leave too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is.
I did dance. Don't tell them that.
You did a little jig.
Yeah.
Well done. As we're talking about industry disruptors, one thing that came out from one of the members up here that I was astounded at, and that was from Natalie. And what she commented there was that retail in the salon is a big thing. And for most of our salons, the more retail, the more we're able to advise the clients and sell retail. But Natalie says that in her business, she has at least 82% of her clients buying retail. I said, that's pretty good. But also, she has no retail display. Now that was shocking to me. What's your analogy or your thoughts about that for you?
I didn't know that was such a strange percentage.
to not have retail display.
82%, are you serious?
And still
Yeah,
move
no,
product.
man, I don't look around me, I just look
Wow.
forward.
Wow.
But for me, it's like, I don't know, I've had an extremely amazing mentor, Kathy, over there. It was non-negotiable when I was an apprentice. So it was something that was just then like drummed into me, that we are like the hair doctors and we have to prescribe product, and you're not trying to sell it to them, they need to wash their hair with something. Like, it's pretty basic. But then I realised that it doesn't come naturally to everybody, as it did with me, because I never ever spoke about product. I just did really good hair, but I always added value to my client. So I would educate the client, I'd put up a tripod, I would let them film it, I would use product during that process, and then all of a sudden, the product is at the reception desk and they just take it. They don't even see it, it's in a bag. And it was just so passive and so streamlined. As I started to educate and teach, people then was like, her own product is not on display in her space. And I said, but it's a part of me and people know that. Like, if you know me and follow me and watch me, and if you're in my chair and you're a client, you know I'm gonna tap something into your head. Like, it's very common, you know, for you to understand that. And we decided to have prescription pads, which are very similar to your travellers.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a beautiful, like, wooden timbered board with our logo on the back, and it has every single client is quoted prior to any service in my salon, because I don't like that shock that a client has, or that face at the end when they walk over to the counter. So I make sure that everybody understands clearly, everything is itemized and quoted prior, and then their prescribed product also by every single stylist. It's also very seamless, because the receptionist would then go over to our hidden cupboards where all of our product is, with her prescription pad, pack every single client's for obviously that hour or 2 hours, ready for checkout. And that's just
It's impressive.
easy.
It really is. It really is. But the thing that we know, that every single client that comes into your stores and our stores there has two things in common. They've got a hair problem and they buy product from someone else. It's the same with every single client that comes in. So it's quite easy for us to tap into that if we know how to do it the right way. But it does become a culture in a business that's directed and dealt with every single day that we're there, with every single member of staff. And that's one thing I'll deliberate on till the day I die, is that for every salon owner, you've got to get to every single staff member every single day to have a chat with them. Every single staff member, every single day, about business and where they're headed with that. And then we start to get the results, and that becomes a culture like you have there. So well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. Now, Adam, for you and your salon, now we spoke a fair bit about not just YouTube and those sorts of things, but your business as such and the customer service, how you delight the clients, because you're really big on maintaining and keeping your clientele there. How do you go about making sure that you deliver beyond people's expectations so they keep coming back to you?
I think quite simply, clients like consistency. They don't like it to feel different. I was asked yesterday, 7 years ago when you started YouTube, you probably started that thinking that it was going to take a while to take off, and obviously we're going to evolve and something else is going to come up. And I think that, you guys can quote me on this and ask me in 5 years' time, because I can guarantee I'll be back here at Expo in 5 years' time. But the next place to win is going back to analog. And what I mean by analog is going back to remembering that we shouldn't only connect with our customers digitally. You still have to be able to have a conversation and know who that person is.
True.
And that starts by the moment they arrive in the salon is the first point, and we have a system where they come into our salon, they're greeted like most salons, we take them through to our lounge. We've created almost like a little sort of satellite cafe in our salon where we have like a bar and a coffee machine, and we have some nice leather lounges for them to sit on.
What do you serve there?
Anything they want, basically. Beer, wine, champagne, coconut water, juice, every single tea you could think of. We've got decaf, chai, soy, almond milk, I don't know what, it's just how it is. Like, you have to be able to offer everything to everyone. And then we have and again, I'm not going to say that it's always perfect, but what we aim to do is to settle them there, and then we go and find where they're going to be. A lot of you guys might know that we started about 3 or 4 years ago writing people's names on the mirror.
That's right. I remember that story.
And I thought at the time it was for a practical reason, because our salon is such that if someone gets up and they're taken to the basin, or they're taken to another part of the salon for whatever reason, it would be quite easily to mistake that no one's been sitting there because of how clean we keep everything. Their bags are tucked in the side, and the last thing you want is playing musical chairs to bring someone in, sitting in someone else's chair. So it's easy. My mates own restaurants in Canberra, and they often write specials on these beautiful big mirrors with these chalk pens. I said to Nicole, I said, go to office work, give me some white chalk pens. What for? Just go and get them. Came back and said, now we're going to write everyone's name on the mirror. So they almost take ownership of that station while they're there. And then we went even further to when we hang their jacket in the cupboard, we write the number of the hanger that their jacket's on, so we know where to go and get their jacket, so we don't. How many people have gone, oh, which one's yours, the black one? There's 9 of
That's right. Well, they get the wrong one.
When you give someone's Dolce Gabbana jacket away and you've got to pay for it, you learn fast.
In Canberra? Oh, good. Okay.
What's it you?
It's white. Can I have it back?
Yeah, so what we try and do is we settle them there in the lounge. We go, okay, because often when salons are busy, you're walking a client straight into the salon, it's chaotic. Like, you know, like, it's organised chaos. You've got people doing hair, there's trolleys, there's someone tidying up. It's like, so rather than making it feel rushed, make it feel orderly, like bring them in. And that I believe is, it's as simple as that, just having processes to create consistency, because clients don't want it to be different. They sit there like, hang on a minute, what's going on? It's not the same. Normally I go in the lounge and I have my coffee there and then I go in. But if they're busy and they want to take me straight in, they'll say, sit here for 1 sec, I'm going to let you have your coffee at your chair. You know, but they know that there would be an option or a way that should be done, and when it's not done that way, it rattles them. They want to be consistent. So, in terms of the analog versus digital thing, if you want to win in the next 5 years, start giving your clients some really, really good service. I mean, lay it on thick. And it comes down to retailing. I mean, I think what Nat said here, I mean, I think that's incredible. 82% retail is phenomenal. I'd probably retire if I could do that. You know, like, it's
retired $600 million haircuts, mate.
That's right. But it is a part of service. You know, it is a part of service, and so we like to make sure that we try and win on service, because Canberra is a very different market, and people are sick of hearing me say this, but if you haven't owned a business in Canberra, you just don't understand what it's like. I like to listen to Nat and Mia talk about how they take photos of their clients. Do you think an ambassador's wife wants me to take a photo? Do you think Malcolm Turnbull's wife Lucy wants me to take a photo of and put her on Instagram? Or like, we just can't do that. So we have to look at other ways we can win, because at the end of the day, grey hair pays the bills, right? Regrowth. So we do Instagram. The younger guys have a younger clientele, they do that, and I think that's important. But we try and market our business on the fact that we give great service, and we try and remember people's names. We want them to come back. We invite them to rebook. And it's, so when you ask me that question, it's simple. Just always remembering those core values of service. You can connect so many levels digitally, and it's beautiful. And I'm not for a minute going to say that technology shouldn't be embraced, but do you really know who that person is sitting there? Are they having a good day? Did you ask? No, like they showed you a photo on an iPad, and you're like, yep, I can do that. We'll get you wrapped up. Let's get started. Do a quote, talking, recommending retail. We're going to use beautiful Bond Ultimate by Matrix today. You know, we're going to include that in your pricing quote and do all that stuff that matters. But do you know who they are? You know, it's service. Like, these people don't care about me. They didn't even ask.
Such a valid point.
It's simple, but we just overlook it.
As much as the big round of applause, don't hold back. Big round of applause. Thank you. As much as when they look at the new shop fronts for us, that gets people in. It's what we do with them once they're in there, and keeping those people coming back. A gentleman once said to me, and this gentleman was called Dale Carnegie, and he said, the sweetest, most beautiful sound in the English language is the sound of a person's name. Do you know how many hairdressers can remember somebody's name?
Right on the mirror.
And it just doesn't.
I did it, right on the mirror. No excuse not to use anyone's
And
name.
you do. It is. We have it on our travellers, we write the name down there. Not that we look at it and go, oh, your name's so-and-so, but it's that reminder there all the time. In one of our salons, she's in Broadway Junction now, a young lady called Mia. And she was an apprentice with me. She came from the country, and as she came into the salon and worked there through the years to build up to be a senior on the floor, she had this knack of remembering people's names. So everybody came in, I just noticed that she'd call out, hey Mary, how are you? She was not going to look after them, she was just an apprentice. The next client would come in, John, how are you today? And she found a way of just remembering these names. And she'd say it all the time. I picked up on it and I said, please, never ever change that in your life. And this day she's a senior hairdresser with us and does exceptionally well in our Bondi Junction salon. So Mia, I know you're big on customer service, and because clients are a big part of what your business is there. Can you just explain a little bit about, I know you've got a couple of rooms there, or a couple of places that are a bit different, the one of the tea party thing, please just explain.
So I think this comes back to I think what Nellie Ann was saying about creating spaces for clients wanting to take photos and for them wanting to share your brand in your space. So we've got a few little things that we do. Like we do a little high tea set for when they get their teas and coffees, and that's something that comes up a lot on Insta stories for us because it's cute. Sort of like I think it's a cute little special touch. Basically, every single space in our salon is Instagram worthy. So we've got, originally we started off with our green wall. I did pinch an idea from my friends over at Shumba up the back there. They had a beautiful mirror in their bathroom, and that was a beautiful wallpaper bathroom, and it said, Shumba bathroom selfie, is that right? And I loved it so much that when we renovated the salon, we ended up putting in flamingo wallpaper, a big chandelier, and we give people instructions that like when you go to the bathroom, if you want to take a selfie, close all the doors so the toilet's not reflecting in the mirror, and take a selfie there and upload it as well. What else do we have in the salon that's cool? We used to have wallpaper, we've painted over that now. We know exactly where to tell the young girls where the light is. So that basically came about because I know where all of my team take their selfies in salon. So they're constantly trying to find the light. I guess, it's a very narcissistic place. But yeah. But I guess it's a big mix because we do have a mixed clientele as well. So it's really only the young ones that make it onto social media. Sort of like I've got a clientele of everyone sort of, upwards of 40 right through to 93. So they typically don't make it onto our Facebook, but they don't live there either. So it's not really a place for them. But we did put our 93-year-old Olive on, and she did get lots of she got lots of likes, and she got recognised, and she thought that was really cute too. So when she was out doing the shopping, they were like, I've seen you somewhere. So she's cool, she's funky.
They sound really good places, and I know I've had the opportunity to wander into a salon in Western Australia. And this salon over there, it's owned by Charlene, sat down here, was tremendous. If you ever want to see a busy salon, one of probably the busiest in Australia, bar none, was that salon. And learned a lot, and I know from the decor that you've got in there, you were big on social media as well, it helps so much for your business also. Yeah. So thanks for showing me around your salon. As we're talking through here...
Is the name of the salon, by the way.
Nice little plug there, thank you.
That's alright.
Thanks, Natalie.
That's alright.
As we keep going through, have we got any questions from the audience on anything? From anybody?
Come on,
If not,
guys.
that's cool. Keep going. But if you've got any
Clive's got a
questions,
question for sure. I can
Please.
see him holding it back.
No, I don't want to ask a
Come on,
question.
I have a question for Natalie.
Yes? Hi, how you going?
Hi.
What's your name?
Renee.
Hi, Renee.
I just wanted to ask, like obviously you have a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
On Instagram, and I see there's always like beautiful people, what you're doing their hair. Do you like pay models to do that for your social media, or these actually clients that you're using, and do you use like an iPhone to take the photos and the recordings, or do you actually have someone that actually does it for you and does all the stuff?
Alright, let me break that up into a couple of different ways. So, I don't pay any influencers. I've never done any paid influencer marketing, nor have I done any paid advertising on Facebook or Instagram. And no, I have not bought my followers for anyone who's listening. But I started off with just beautiful family and friends. You have to understand, see Instagram like any other advertising medium. Any brand on the face of the planet uses a beautiful person to endorse their product.
Yeah.
That is the answer, right? So I started with my really beautiful family members, and I would start doing their hair and started posting pictures. And it's something called lookalike audiences. So people resonate with people that are like them, So I would then start to get a clientele that looked exactly like them. And as that evolves, it is now influencers. So I started doing one influencer's hair, the next influencer wants to come and be in the space, be in the chair. And I've also been...
Charging full price?
I don't charge anyone.
Oh, so you do it all free?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I know that sounds so weird to everybody, but I literally work for free for 4 days a week, still, to this day. And that's okay, because my phone rings 160 times a day, and we have 2 full-time receptionists, and it's that's the payment, like I can't pay for that traffic, like nowhere in the world without doing it myself. And it's just worked really well for me. Everything is shot on an iPhone 8 Plus. Recently we have definitely looked into gear and equipment and
Speak to Adam.
yeah, definitely rack this guy's brain and
Don't do what I did, do everything, try it and then go.
no,
Next one.
hire it if you want to try it, hire. And then
Talk to me, I'll sell you some.
I've recently invested in employing my brother full time, so he's now doing our editing because I can't shoot 4 days worth of content and not have someone help me edit.
Yeah.
So that's been a blessing. And did I miss anything?
No, you pretty much got everything down pat. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Charlene.
Sorry for Nat again. I just want to tell everyone, I went to Bali with 2 of Nat's staff members and I was actually totally blown away. So I congratulate you. I think you've moulded them at they were like 2 little Natalie Anns. And it was quite incredible. We were there to shoot Miss Universe and these 2 incredible staff members, they really didn't care about, well, they did care about what they were there for, but it was all about her brand and about getting amazing content. And it was quite fascinating because they were shooting in our apartment. So early in the morning, I'm still in my pajamas, and these guys are all setting up. They've got the whole lot running the bath. Okay, hurry up! We've got the bath. We need to get good, amazing content. So congratulations, because they were amazing. And another thing, when you shoot, I see that when you're doing your video, it's on the Instagram TV.
IGTV.
Why is that instead of the other?
Well, according to my reading, but also I started to understand that I just got to test things. But I noticed extreme spikes in engagement. Like, I'm talking maybe 500-600% higher engagement. So when you start to build a larger audience on Instagram and you become a business profile, Instagram is a business, so Instagram wants to make money and they would like to charge you for views, charge you for attention, charge you for their space, so to speak. And I've been on it and using it for free for a really long time. So, it's time for me to pay a toll, so to speak, if everyone understands. So I realised that people like me, creators like me, were getting huge amounts of engagement using IGTV. I haven't taken the plunge in this yet, but I was itching for long form content, and I feel as though it was time for me to connect with my audience on a longer level, and start talking directly to camera, engaging with them and teaching them and hearing my voice really. Because I've hidden behind a 1 minute or a 15-second video for such a long time. So 500% more engagement at minimum. This month alone we've had 5 videos hit 1 million views. So that's 5 million on Instagram. It's unheard of.
But that's fantastic. And so, because I've noticed that it's around about 1 minute, it's still under 2 minutes.
Guys, you could do 1.1 second.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute, 0.1.
Yeah.
It just has to be in like 1 increment longer than a minute for you to upload directly onto IGTV. You have to download the app now, IGTV, and go for it. Try it. It's so good. It just reaches so many people.
Thank you. Any other questions? Questions at the back?